Hi all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am 𝐬𝐿, and today the topic of discussion is how to make our resume from the very scratch. What all pointers are needed to be keep in mind while making our resume, how to make our resume look very attractive, and what all things we can add in resume. So let's get started. So as you can see, I have shared a template of resume which I have taken from Google Docs. So the reason behind me taking the resume template from Google Docs is because Google Docs is very user friendly and you just need to do some editing, copy and pasting, which is a true quality of every programmer. Apart from Google Docs, there are many websites which helps in resume building like overleaf.com, resume builder and much more. So today we will start with Google Docs. So the first thing you can see is your name. So obviously it's true. We need to mention our name in the resume at the very beginning. So we can start by mentioning our name. It's just a click and then you can mention your name. Then here you can give a brief summary about yourself. Like a brief summary, what I would suggest is like I can mention Riti Kumari and aspiring software developer or a software developer. So like this, these are the some examples you can mention about yourself. So a short summary works, not very overloaded summary or not a summary which should be like a story, just a small 1 line or 2 line summary about yourself. Now here, if you want, you don't need to mention your address, that is very optional. You can mention your email ID, you can mention your phone number, and if you want, you can mention some of the links as well for your website. Like if you want to mention your GitHub links, so you can mention it here. If you want to mention your LinkedIn link, so you can mention it here. So here you can mention your email address, your links, your mobile number, anything where a person can contact you. So now coming to the second part is experience. So many people get very devastated when they listen about experience, because I can also totally relate. When we were in college, we weren't getting any internship. So what to mention in experience, because we don't have any internship. So experience section should be blanked, or what we should do. So in my suggestion, if you don't have any internship experience, try to leave this experience section as blank, or you can just remove this experience section. But there is a tip: whenever you are not having any internship, you should prove yourself to the recruiter that why you are worth it. So what you can do is you can mention ample amount of projects, because see, in the internship what we do, we work on projects. I was also 6 months intern, so we basically work on projects and we showcase our skills. So if you're not getting internship, what you can do is you can mention your projects in the project section, and you can just like let the recruiter know that even if I didn't got any internship, I have the basic skills which people often learn in internships or other places. So if you don't have any experience, you can leave it blank. But if you have an internship experience, just mention the company. Location, I guess it's optional, but if you want, you can mention, because sometimes people generally try to prefer candidates who belong to a particular state or a particular city. So for that, you can mention the location. You can also mention the job title, the month, from which month to which month you had your internship, and then a little bit explaining about your internship. You don't need to reveal all the internal details what you did in internship, but a short summary about what you performed, what were your tasks, and what impact it made in the company or any place you were interning in. So you can mention your internship in the experience section. Now coming to the education. So in this section also, people have enormous number of doubts, that shall we include 12 percentage, shall we include 10 percentage, shall we include our college. So if you are a college fresher, of course you need to mention about your college details, like what your college name is, what degree you are pursuing there, what stream you are into, what is your CGPA. So these are the college skills which you should mention. Apart from that, if you are a college grad, you can go and mention about your class 12th or class 10th grade. But if you're someone who is very experienced, I don't think you need to mention your class 10th or 12th grades. Anyhow, you can mention your college details, but not the class 10th or 12th grades. So here, as you can see, you can mention your college name, then the location where your college is located if you want, then the degree. Like I was pursuing BTech, so I would mention here BTech. If you are pursuing BCA, MCA, you can mention it there. Now here you can mention from which year to which year you were pursuing your BTech, or like if you are currently pursuing or anything like that. And here in the summary section, you can only mention your CGPA out of 10, and you can mention the CGPA or GPA, whatever you wish like. But don't mention more things beyond that, because anyhow, no one has time to look up on each and everything. You can just make it very simple and crisp. Just your college name, your college location, your degree, the year from which you are graduating, or the year from which you would be graduating, or if you have graduated. You can mention all these details here. And then here you can mention if you want your stream as well, that I was from a computer science stream or IT stream. Like, I would suggest that mention it as well, because sometimes some of the job openings are only for computer science and IT graduates only. So for that job openings, it would be very easy for the recruiter to filter out your resume. And then you can mention your CGPA. And after that, if you want, you can mention your class 12 or class 10th grades as well if you want. So now coming to the third and major section, that is projects. What we shall put in our projects? Shall we put each and every project we have made? Shall we put a Hello World project also if we have made? Shall we put a to-do list also if we have made? So coming to the projects, what I would suggest is try to mention 2 to 3 projects, because see, anyhow, anyone doesn't have very much time. Like, it would hardly take 2 to 3 minutes to have a look through on your resume, right? So anyone doesn't have very much of time to focus on each and every project you have mentioned. So what I would suggest is try to mention your top 2 to 3 projects. Now, some college grads often fear with the fact that they haven't did development, and they have only did DSA, and they really don't know that what should they mention in the project section. So a small tip for you guys is, like, if you have only did DSA and you haven't explored much to the web development or other machine learning and things, so what you can do is you can make a project using OOPS, and you can mention it in the resume. Because see, having something is always better than having nothing. So what I would suggest is, in the project section you want, if you can mention the OOPS project, like a library management system or hospital management system, you can mention like that, because OOPS is very much related to programming only. And I guess if you have learned DSA, or if you are a great programmer, or if you are a great problem solver, you would be very much efficient in writing a object oriented programming code as well. So you can make that in your resume. Now coming to the skills. So in the skill section, what you can do is try to mention the skills you are having. Don't try to mention the skills like I mentioned that I know R programming, but I have only read what is R programming. I have only read what R programming is all about, what all things are needed in R programming, but I haven't coded ever. I haven't coded in that programming ever. So would it be good for me to mention R programming? No, it won't, because anyhow in the interview I might be cross questioned on that, and if I fail to answer about it, that is a very negative impact in front of any HR or recruiter or the interviewer. So what I would mention is, in the skill section, even if you are having skills about only 3 languages or 3 texts or anything like that, try to mention that only. Try to mention that languages, that tech in which you are very much confident. Don't just see a 1 hour tutorial of anything and just mention it in your resume, because anyhow, if there is something which is very exciting to the interviewer, he or she would ponder upon that particular topic and would ask deep dive questions from that. So at that particular moment you can't do anything. So what I would suggest is mention the necessary skills you have worked upon, you have any project in that, or you have expertise in that. So mention that skills here. And then coming to the awards. So many students ask me this question, and like in the DM as well, many people ask me that, is it good to mention our awards and achievements? So from my understanding, yes, it's very good to mention about your awards, achievements, and co-curriculars, because I think like a company is not only in a search of an employee who is very technically skilled, also in a search of employee who has some great management skills as well, who has some great leadership skills as well, because in the HR round, this is something which is majorly focused upon. So what I would mention is, always go ahead and try to mention your achievements and awards. It's not always necessary to mention all the awards and achievements in the co-curriculars only. If you want, you can mention your coding profile links as well. You can mention that I have secured this rank in Code Chef Lunch, this rank in Code Forces contest, this rank in Lead Code Bitwisely contest. Like, you can mention anything you want, but that should be something which should be considered as an achievement for you as well and for the interviewer as well, because it should make sense, right? So try to mention that. I have also mentioned like about my global ranks during Code Chef lunchtime and cook off challenges. So you can like mention that things in the awards in this as well. And if you have done any co-curriculars, like if you were a part of a technical club, if you have handled some event, if you have organized some events, that you can surely show off in your resume in the award section. Now coming to this thing, languages, I very much don't prefer mentioning about the languages in your resume, because I don't think that it is very much necessary for a person to know that okay, you know Bengali or you know Hindi or you know Spanish. Like, if you know Spanish, you can anyhow mention it in your achievements that okay, I learned Spanish and I secured this and I was a scholar in Spanish, like something like that. But I don't think that you should make a separate section for the languages. What I would suggest is just replace these languages and just mention your coding profiles if you are aiming for a software development engineer job. See, anyhow, the first thing or the first impression on your interviewer, on your recruiter is your resume, right? So you have to make your resume that much capable that if a person has a look through on your resume, he or she might get each and every detail about you, each and every achievement you have done, and each and every coding profiles or open source or anything you have done, because somehow that is something which will add more on your selection of your resume and more you getting selected and you standing out in front of many people. So what I would suggest is in the languages section, you can just ignore that language and just make it coding profiles, and you can just go ahead with mentioning your coding profile links or like the links you want to mention here. So you can go ahead and mention your coding profile links that should outstand in front of an interviewer. If you're someone who is from a non-tech background, you guys can show off your skills. Like if you are someone who is a graphic designer, you can mention some of your designings like in a drive link or something like that. So person who are in tech, I would suggest just mention your coding profile links. Any links, like if you want the person to go ahead, like it's not possible for us to like mention each and every link here or each and every link there, because see here anyhow we are able to only mention 4 links. But what if I want to mention about my GitHub, Code Forces, Code Chef, Lead Code, Hacker Rank, Hacker Earth, and many much more profiles at Coder? So you can mention it here. So this was pretty much how you can start making your resume. Now the second cheese is pointers which we should like keep in our mind while making our resume. So don't make your resume very big, because again the same thing, a person get only 2 to 3 minutes to read your resume or go through your resume. So don't make your resumes like 3-4 pages long. 1 to 2 pages is very much sufficient, but still I would prefer 1 page resume is very great. Second thing which you should keep in mind is like if you're not having any internship, try to make other sections of your resume outstand, right? So if you don't have any internship, try to make your project sections, your achievement sections like very much good, right? Because see anyhow recruiter or anyone whom you are approaching for referral or for interview purpose is don't know you personally sometimes, right? So if the person don't know you personally, how would they come to know that you are a very technically skilled person? So you need to show that in your resume. And the third thing is people often complain that we are not getting the OA links. We are applying from our resume, but our resume is getting rejected. So guys, the major, I guess the major drawback behind that is like since now everyone is into tech, everyone is doing some hustling, everyone is trying to make themselves more efficient. So you have to buckle up and you have to put that extra foot, because see anyhow you are competing with fellow mates, you are competing with few people either in on campus or in off campus. So you have to at least stand out the best when you are expecting an awesome response from great product based companies to just take your resume, just screen it and just pass you in the resume screening process. So these are all the tips. And second thing I would like to say is, again, I would be coming with another video where we would be sharing some Telegram groups which are very much important for finding job purpose and job opportunities. And then, like, there would be many things which would be very helpful to you in this series. First series was the how to make your resume look very good, and in the series we will go ahead with Telegram groups for job opportunities, Telegram groups for coding, Telegram groups for searching notes, resources, etc., where we can find resources, where we can find proper resources. So I'll be making videos on all these topics. Till then, I hope that you guys better understanding on how you can make your resume and how you can start making your resume. Google Docs is very friendly. You can start like anytime. You just need to edit and write your name. So there's nothing which is taking very much time, and it needs very less efforts. And these resumes are also ATS friendly. So you can just start making your resume and start your journey in tech, because resume is the first thing you should always focus on while applying to any job or any portals. So this was all about today's video. I'll come another day with another video. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying, keep growing. Bye.